has the most to lose in a trade war?
We do. Oh, I'm sorry.
Well, a lot of it depends on whether it's an election year or not. And it's an election year. And one of the possible losers right now that you've got is congressional Republicans, particularly anybody from the Corn Belt. They talk about Iowa. Iowa exports an awful lot of pork and soybeans and farm produce, and this marketed in China. And when it starts, this can get it into the economic realm.
And that's where I was headed. And Rod, I think you and I will be on the same sheet of music here. I'm going to make a prediction that you and I will not be far apart in regards to this. I said this morning, there is no doubt that there should be some concern in the private sector. You got certain industries that'll be disadvantaged with these tariffs and trade wars. You've got some that'll fare okay. I mean, they won't be as adversely affected. You've got some that'll win. The American steel industry will be a big winner. But the people with the most at risk, Rod, is Wall Street. The CNBC crowd, the Bloomberg crowd. When you really think about trade, when you really think about free trade, it's not been real good for the American worker. I don't think we can disagree there. It's been pretty good for the American consumer. It's been damn good for Wall Street and corporate executives.
100%. That's why you're not seeing anybody other than Bernie Sanders and Elizabeth Warren saying what Trump's doing good. Now, isn't that strange, bedfellows? Elizabeth Warren says it's about time. She's almost apologized saying it.
Well, labor unions like it.
Well, but my point is this. I agree with you. But look at Joe Cunningham was running Twitter, Facebook ads attacking it because of what? Boeing. Boeing's a huge part of the Charleston
No
economy.
question.
And they immediately said that. But I got a kick out of you. I represented a hog farmer one time that there was electrical malfunction and a whole barn of hog. Oh, my God, that was the worst. Oh, Lord, I hated it. I had to try the case, too. I had to show the jury all it. And that guy, I would not want to cross a hog farmer. If I was Trump thinks he's tough. Don't cross a hog farmer, brother.
Well, but I want to go back to you.
But you're right. One more thing on Wall Street.
And I'm not beating up on Wall Street. I mean,
no. But what happened? Is Trump? Is there any tariffs on China right today? No. He's threatened them, right?
But
what did stocks do?
And Wall Street's in panic. I mean, Wall Street is in panic mode. And I understand, Dr. Thigpen, I understand that most of us have a 401k or some investment account. I understand that. But here's what I'm getting at. And I told Rev this morning, I read an article earlier this week in the Wall Street Journal, and it was about the freak out of Wall Street. I mean, they're freaking out because of the potential trade war. There is no doubt the consumer has been advantaged to some degree with free trade. The American worker, I think, is lost in that bartering and negotiating. But I read about an American company. It's an iconic American brand. I would not mention the company because I don't want trouble out of them. They got a lot more money than I do and hire many, many more lawyers like Rod than I could. And I don't want to slander nor defame their name. But I mean, and y'all would know the company. It's the company next door, and they have a great reputation. But they paid their shareholders a 16% return in 2016, and the hourly employees got a 2.1% pay raise. And I'm not saying that that's not the right way to conduct business. I understand the CEO has a fiduciary responsibility to maximize value with the company. I get that. If you can do the job cheaper in China, go to China. Malaysia, go to Malaysia. But what I'm arguing is Wall Street has garnered far too much influence and effect on the American political system. And when we say there's nothing in Washington they can agree on, I disagree. That they agreed pretty much to bail out Wall Street. They agreed to pretty much the financialization of our country's economy. And once again, I'm not saying Wall Street's doing anything illegal. I'm not suggesting nor insinuating that. But the clear winner in free and fair trade, it's not really been fair trade, but the clear winner in free trade has been people that invest in companies that maximize their profit. And a lot of that profit kind of filters its way through Wall Street. And I'm looking around and I'm going, okay, if we go down the road of a trade war, I don't think we will. because I don't think Trump fundamentally believes in tariffs, because he doesn't put Larry Kudlow in that position if he does, because Kudlow's as free trader as they come. I mean, he's a Wall Streeter. But what I'm arguing is there's been a group of people in America who have had a damn good run for a long, long time, and a lot of people in America who have stood still. And I think free trade has been a large component, and globalization and all of that. And there's a little bit of me, I want to be careful here, that there's a little bit of me that takes a little bit of joy in watching Wall Street squirm, because that's exactly what they're doing today. And once again, everybody's 401k will take a hit. Everybody's retirement account will take a hit. But about 1.5% of stocks are owned by, 75% of stocks are owned by about 1.5% of the population. I mean, proportionally, they are going to be the ones who deal with these 500-point sell-offs or 600-point sell-offs. Once again, I don't think we're going to end up in a trade war. I think they're playing a game of chicken, one with another. Rod mentioned, as I said this morning, the efficiencies of communism is they can do something, with a drop of a hat. In our government, it takes a process. It takes more of a procedure. But that's not a political. I'm not trying to make it. You're the one that said it's economic, and that's where I'm headed. This is far more an economic matter than it is a political matter, because I don't think anybody politically really knows where exactly they should stand in regards to tariffs and trade.
Well, the only reason, you asked me about the effect of it. And, I guess my problem in life is I always think of things in terms of electoral terms.
So you're a political scientist.
That's my area. As far as the economic aspect of the thing, from a personal point of view, I'm an old guy, and I've worked my entire life at low-pay jobs, and saved and paid off and all this kind of thing. And near the end, in my career, I got to almost working for my pension, for my state pension. That was about it. And there's an awful lot of little guys in this country because of this prospective trade war that we're about to be in, and some say we're in it already. Haven't got time, guys like me, to see my 401k go back up to where it was. I mean, last month it's been looking like a 201k as a result. And there's an awful lot of people who put money into their pensions and saved and been cautious about investing and this kind of thing. They're going to get it in the neck. One of the other things from a political point of view is the Republicans hope to hang on to Congress in this 218 cycle because of the tax cuts, and that they would filter down so that the average fella said, well, I got more money in my paycheck than I used to get before this tax cut business. But I think this hurts all that. So I think the Republicans are getting hurt by this. A lot of it has to do with the fact that, Trump's no party guy.
At all.
At all. Not in the slightest. You've heard Rod say it. Watch if it's a carnage for the Republicans in Congress in congressional elections this year in 218. Watch Trump move over and start working with the Democrats. I mean,
we've never thought. He's completely malleable. He doesn't have an ideological core to him. Rob, but where do most independents stand on this tariff? Do they understand it? And if they do, where do they stand on it?
Independents understand. You got a good-looking Gamecock shirt on today. That's the first thing I noticed. I like that shirt. Back about in the 1980s, early 1990s, chances are that shirt would have made in Lancaster. And Fritz Hollins warned about NAFTA that we're going to lose our textile job. I'm not saying that shirt was made in Mexico, but I guarantee it wasn't made in the United States.
Antigua.
I looked. Mine, ironically enough, I got a good Peter Millar shirt that was made in the Republic of China.
See, the American public likes these do not dislike
But let me get back
these
to what
less
you were saying.
expensive imports
And
into the United
and that's
States.
where I'm headed
with you, but here's the man on the street. It goes back to what you're talking about, corporations. Just a second ago, I was in Lowe's yesterday, and my store was slammed, and very few cash registers were open that they have cordoned. There's a good old boy behind me. I can tell you, good old boy. You know, he was just, I'm telling you, that guy was no Democrat standing behind me. And we were waiting in line and stuff, and he says, I walked out of this store last week. I told my wife I'd never come back, but I want this grill because I'm going to cook me something, whatever. And he says, I can't stand these Trump tax cuts. I said, what's that? We got very little, but these dang corporations got all this money. They pocketed that money. They didn't give anything to the employees. They didn't do anything to help things. And he says, and it's the same blanky thing with Obama. They gave all that money to these big corporations and these buyouts. You know what? And I said, what's that? He says, if they had given every American, divided it up, what they gave Wall Street, we all would have got $1 million apiece. We'd be debt-free, and we'd be putting the money back in the economy, spending the money like hell.
So would
Now,
you?
so
would
what I'm
you run
saying-
against Wall Street? I mean, if you're running a campaign,
Trump's running against immigration, which is a straw man. I'd run against Wall Street as a straw man.
if you're a Republican, do you run against Wall Street?
It depends upon the district this year.
But you never thought that would be a reality within the Republican Party.
Absolutely not.
Pro-business.
But
But it ain't pro-individual.
look at all the esteem that business in the corporate world lost with a recession.
Self-inflicted wounds. Greed. Doc's silent.
No, you know, and so Wall Street. I was going to sleep over here. I didn't know you were going to come back. I thought Rod was up.
I passed the baton to you.
We never
You
have
dropped
any.
the baton, man.
I haven't got my ears in good today, maybe.